Many people succumb to the grip of an addiction every day. An addiction heavily impacts the way a person thinks, feels, and acts. To find the root of the problem, we have to go back in time to younger days. To find a solution, we must first see what might have caused it. While each addiction situation is different, there are generally three main ingredients. First, teens have a lot to cope with. Many teens are trying to find answers to the questions, who am I? What is my identity? While having to deal with copious amounts of homework. When asked, teens would often say that the number one reason they used drugs was to deal with the pressures and stress of school. Some teens even have to deal with stress at home. There could be emotional neglect, abuse, divorce, a family member with an illness, a family member who is addicted, loss of a loved one, or money troubles. Many teens also have to deal with depression or social anxiety. In addition to having a lot to cope with, most teens, to no fault of their own, have poor coping skills. Their parents may have been so busy with other problems that it caused the teen's cry for help to be ignored. Parents themselves may have been struggling with depression or have been a victim of neglect. Teens who experience this may develop a negative self-image and lose their confidence. The third ingredient to addiction that may be present is certain brain chemistry. Some people, based on how their brain processes chemicals, get hooked easier. Some attribute this to the family tree, also known as genetics. Genetic susceptibility doesn't have to be present for a teen to develop addiction, but it can increase the chance of it happening. The three ingredients do not need to be present in order for addiction to happen. Each of the pieces alone can lead to addiction. So how does addiction start? A teen has a lot to cope with and poor coping skills. They try alcohol or drugs, and this allows them to temporarily forget their stress in life, which is a flawed way of coping. Teens' brain learns that alcohol or drugs help them cope. With repeated use, this bad learning loop becomes engraved in the mind deeply. This reaches a point where the brain automatically reaches for drugs or alcohol in most stressful situations. These substances chemically change the brain, making the teenager less self-aware of the ongoing problem. This makes situations worse and feeds into the negative loop, and if continued, the addiction could lead to jail or even death. Approximately 1 out of 10 adults struggle with addiction. Addiction leads to broken families, broken promises, and broken hearts, and currently an increasing number of deaths. How do we prevent this from happening? How do we prevent addiction?